Okay, let's talk about French past tenses. I know. It can feel like a total mystery, right? Well, today, we're going to be detectives. We are going to crack one of the biggest cases in French grammar, the imparfait.
Seriously, you put in the work, you finally got the hang of the passé composé to say what you did, and then, boom, French hits you with this other past tense. It feels totally unnecessary, maybe even a little unfair. But I promise you, there's a really cool reason it exists, and by the end of this, it's all going to click.
So here's our game plan. First, a quick recap of the past tense you already know. Then we'll meet our mystery tense, the imparfait. I'll show you how to build it, we'll see how they work together, and then I'll give you a detective's toolkit to make it all super easy.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about our old friend, the passé composé. Just think of this tense as your story's action hero. This is the tense you use for the main plot points. It's for telling someone what happened, a specific event that started, finished, and is totally done. It's the headline of your story.
So, for example, when I entered the house, bam! It's an action, it happened at a specific moment, and it's over, done, and dusted. Remember that feeling, a single, completed event.
And now, let's bring in the main suspect, the imparfait. Here's the #1 mistake people make, thinking this is just another action tense. It's not. It has a completely different job. If the passé composé is the action, the imparfait, well, it's the scenery. The imparfait is all about setting the stage. It describes what was happening around the main action. It tells you what things were like, how people were feeling, or what you used to do all the time. It's the background music, the lighting, the mood of your story.
And you know what's kind of funny? For a tense that seems so nuanced, forming it is actually incredibly simple. There are almost no exceptions. Let's look at the evidence.
It's a simple 3-step trick. You grab any verb, find its nous form in the present tense. Say, for to speak, it's nous parlons. Then you chop off that ons at the end. That gives you your root, parle. From there, you just stick on the right ending. Easy as that.
And these are the endings you need. Now check this out. For je, tu, and il, elle, on, the endings are spelled differently, but they all sound exactly the same. You'd say je parlais, tu parlais, il parlait. It makes speaking it a breeze.
Okay, so making it is a piece of cake. Let's get to the fun part and see how it works in real life. Its first big job is just describing a past scene. Literally, painting a picture with your words. Perfect example. On my wedding day, the weather was nice. Think about it. The nice weather wasn't a single action that happened and then stopped. It was the condition, the atmosphere for the entire day. It was the background. That is a textbook job for the imparfait. It efface beau. All right, the second major role for the imparfait is talking about habits, stuff you used to do over and over again in the past. Okay, this is a memorable one for sure. When I was little, I used to wet the bed often. This wasn't a one-time event, right? It was a repeated action, a habit. And that word often, souvent, is a huge flashing neon sign telling you, use the imparfait. Okay, this is it. The moment of truth. We've got our two main characters. We know what they do. Now let's put them in the same room and see what happens. This is where we solve the case. Here's the big secret. They aren't enemies, they're partners. They work together. The passé composé is your foreground action. It tells you what happened. The imparfait is your background scenery. It tells you what was happening. One's the actor, the other's the stage. And this is where the real storytelling magic happens. You use them together, often in the very same sentence, to show a specific action that interrupts an ongoing scene. Check out this classic example. When I entered the house, she was sleeping on the sofa. So, what was the background situation? She was sleeping. That's an ongoing state, right? Imparfait. And what was the interruption? I entered. That's a single completed action. Passé composé. See how they work together? It creates a full, vivid picture. So to make sure you're a master detective from here on out, every investigator needs a toolkit. Let's look at some keyword clues that are dead giveaways for which tense you need. These are basically your cheat codes. If you see a word like tout à coup, suddenly that signals a sharp, quick action. That's a job for the passé composé. But if you see phrases that feel repetitive, like souvent, often, or tous les samedis, every Saturday, that's your brain screaming, habit, background, use the imparfait. Okay, let's put it all together.
Time to use our new toolkit on one final story to solve this case once and for all. Here's how our story begins. We were walking by the sea as usual. That little phrase, as usual, is our big clue. It tells us this was a routine, an ongoing background scene. What was happening? We were walking. So, of course, we use the imparfait, nous marchions.
And here's the plot twist. When suddenly, he proposed to me. There it is, our clue word, suddenly. The proposal isn't the background. It's the main event, the action that interrupts everything. It happened in a moment. That is 100% a job for the passé composé. Il m'a proposé. The scene was set, and then the action happened.
And there you have it, case closed. They aren't two competing tenses, they're two different tools for telling richer, more interesting stories. One is for the action, the other is for the atmosphere. So now that you're the detective, the real question is, what kind of story do you want to tell?